Let's start over here with Bill, please.
Bill Harwood with CBS News. Ron, I'm curious. I agree I was kind of looking at the wheel well, but from yesterday I was kind of baffled by that sensor up on the side of the fuselage and trying to figure out how you get heating effects above the wing if something's going on in the wheel well. And a physicist told me that you don't conduct heat up the side of the fuselage fast enough to reflect what's going on here. And when you're talking about possible other penetration areas, I want to make sure I don't misinterpret what you're saying. You're saying, I guess, it's possible that you could have a penetration somewhere besides the main landing gear wheel well, get some heating going on in some of the structural boxes of the wing itself, and then perhaps have something happening in that nature. But you're still talking about heat from below that would be somehow in the wing structure itself that then manifests itself somewhere else.
Yes, that's exactly my thinking also. I'm speculating a little bit here because I have no data or evidence to really say that's what happened. But I'm trying to think in my own mind, how would the temperature increase in the wheel well and on the side of the fuselage and still end up with an event that lost the vehicle. It does not seem logical that the wheel well is the source of the problem because the temperature does not reflect it. We've had now 5 different temperature sensors all showing 40, 50 degree increase over 5 minutes. The side of the fuselage showing an increase. There's some other event. There's some other missing link that we don't have yet that is contributing to this temperature increase, and we've got to go find that.
Let's go right here to Sharish.
Sharish Date with the Palm Beach Post. Mr. Didmore, I'm wondering, is there any type of contingency entry scenario in which you would be able to, by, say, inducing a yaw during descent, protect one wing over the other, even if it's by a little bit? And also, did you see any increased skin temperatures on the left wing near the leading edge?
We have not seen any increase in skin temperatures that I'm aware of. I'm reporting to you all the information I have. I mean, you've got everything I know. And if we do, I'll tell you as soon as I find out. I'm not aware of any other scenarios, any other techniques that would have allowed me to favor one wing over the other. And obviously, you know, think about that for a second. If you favor one wing over the other, the wing that's not being favored is getting really hot. And so I'm sure that we didn't develop those scenarios, but I don't know for a fact that we couldn't have. I don't know for a fact that the analysis would have showed that it was not feasible. I can certainly ask some of our engineers and talk to you in the coming days, but I'm doubtful that that's the case just from my knowledge of the thermal conditions. You would also have had to make a judgment that you wanted to fly that way and sacrifice the vehicle, because you cannot meet your landing conditions by protecting one wing over the other. What you're really trying to say is, can I enter through the atmosphere, preserve one wing because you think it might have some damage, and still make my landing conditions way downrange? That's not going to happen. You would have had to make the decision that you knew so much information about the damage on the wing that it was going to fail if you didn't protect it. And then you would have had to make the decision that you were going to sacrifice the vehicle and get to a certain altitude and ask the crew to bail out. That's the scenario that you're asking me about. And I'm sure you understand that for us to have made that type of decision, we would have to have absolute sure knowledge. And I don't believe that there was going to be any sensors or any pictures or any photographs or any video that would have got us there. So we can speculate all day long about what we could have done, but I just don't believe that we would ever have had enough information to make those type of risk trades. So be cautious about that line of thinking.
Okay, let's go to Mike and then right here.
Cabbage with the Orlando Sentinel. Ron, as you continue the process of recovering and sifting through the debris, what are the 2 or 3 items that you are most anxious to find that you think are the most crucial to helping you unlock what happened?
We are extremely interested in any debris upstream of the primary impact area. We've all seen the the debris map as it stretches from Fort Worth through down through Lufkin and even to into Louisiana. We are primarily interested in, certainly if we can find wing debris structure, tile, but if we find any tile or structure upstream of Fort Worth, New Mexico, Arizona, if that exists, that is extremely important to us, because that's going to be a real key in the puzzle. And so we have received a large amount of information from the public on what they have seen, and based upon those reports, we are methodically following up on each one of those reports to try to understand whether they were fooled by a phenomena that is natural, or whether they actually saw something that would be a concern to us as far as the health of the vehicle. And then you have to think about this for a second. Let's just go through the scenario in your mind. Let's say we did shed a couple of tiles. You're at 220,000 feet or so, because now we're at California, Arizona. We're descending rapidly. We're going through Mach 20, 19, 18 fairly quickly, and you shed a piece of tile or two that are 6 inches by 6 inches. Where are they? That's a difficult problem. But we have people seeing if we can solve that problem. You have to know the characteristics of the tile or piece of material that you're looking for. It's traveling at high speed and it's at high altitude. And we have tools that will help us predict where that type of debris may land. But it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But that is not going to keep us from trying to look for it. And so we have a special team that's following up on each one of those reports. We're analyzing the potential of where the debris might have landed, if there really is debris, and searching for any key parameter that might unlock the mystery to this tragedy.
Okay, right here and then right here.
Mr. Ditmore, Jenny Blankenship with KI News out of Austin, Texas. Have you reviewed the ascent telemetry data to see if anything hit the left elevon? And also, you had mentioned the dimensions and the possible weight of the debris that came off of the external fuel tank. Once again, do you have any way of measuring or of at least estimating the mass of that?
The mass is going to be the weight. It's going to be 2.67 pounds. That's going to be the striking energy. The mass or weight of that amount of pounds combined with the velocity as it impacts the wing is all going to be converted to energy. And you saw some of that if you saw the video and the film that I know that you have. As it struck the wing, it basically disintegrated into a cloud of smaller particles. So it went from a mass of 2.67 pounds into the wing, dissipated its energy into a cloud of dust, basically. And what we're trying to understand is, because of that dissipation of energy, what impact did it have on the tile? And that's what our analysts tried to do during the flight, by assuming one tile completely missing and damaged, and then assuming another scenario where you, instead of removing the tile, you actually scooped out material representing several tiles. And then we looked at the thermal properties to see if that would represent a safety concern. And in both cases, they did not. In both cases, what we believe the worst case to be was perhaps a local penetration, local structural damage, perhaps some local yielding of the structure because of the temperature, but not to the degree that it would violate the structural integrity of the wing or its structure, just in very local areas.